I think it's a privilege to call yourself a Scientologist, and it's something that you have to earn. And because a Scientologist does, he or she has the ability to create new and better realities and improve conditions. When you drive past an accident, it's not like anyone else. As you drive past, you know you have to do something about it, because you know you're the only one that can really help. Boy, there's a time I went through and I said, you know what?
Hello, leaders of Scientology. We are anonymous. Over the years, we have been watching you. Your campaigns of misinformation, your suppression of dissent, your litigious nature, all of these things have caught our eye. With the leakage of your latest propaganda video into mainstream circulation, the extent of your malign influence over those who have come to trust you as leaders has been made clear to us. Anonymous has therefore decided that your organization should be destroyed.
Hi, this is Mark Bunker from Xenu TV. I've been hearing from a lot of members of Anonymous and a lot of other people asking me, well, what do you think about Anonymous? And I thought it was kind of important to talk about this. First off, I think it's incredibly exciting to have an army of young, passionate people wanting to do something about Scientology's fraud and abuse. Really is exciting. However, I think you're making some major mistakes that are going to hurt in the long run. They're going to make you look bad, they're going to get you in trouble, they're going to get us in trouble. Those of us who have been longtime critics of Scientology is good at tar and feathering us with other people's actions. Keith Henson was a critic of Scientology, he still is. A few years ago he responded to a post on Alt-Religion Scientology, the news group. Somebody had made a joke about Tom Cruise missiles aimed at Scientology's desert compound. Keith responded to that post. At the same time, he was doing daily pickets of Scientology's compound in Hemet, California. They got him arrested. They got him sent to jail. He just recently got out of jail. It may seem like fun and games, but Scientology is serious.
The Church of Scientology says Anonymous is a cyber terrorist group of religious bigots.
The actions of Anonymous will not interrupt the normal activities of the church, servicing its parishioners and the local community, and we're in coordination with the police to minimise the negative impact of this terrorist group.
Displayed pirated copyright works. Anonymous alleged free speech justification is a belief with the fact that the video in question has been seen by millions. It is Anonymous that has repeatedly attempted to suppress free speech through illegal assaults on church websites as to prevent internet use from obtaining information from the church. They have engaged in other acts of terrorism, including threats of violence and telephone calls, fax transmissions and emails. Not to mention the anonymous mailing of white collar to dozens of our churches requiring the service of law enforcement. Anonymous claims of altruistic purposes are no more different than those heard from any terrorist group. We are not the first to be targeted using the Scientology is prominent. Anonymous hopes to garner more attention. Anonymous is publicly proclaimed as guiding materials to be the Communist Manifesto and Mein Kampf. Quite obviously, this group is not just anti-Scientology, it is anti-freedom religion and anti-free speech. Religious bigotry of any nature is deplorable and profoundly affects the entire community. The terrorist crimes of Anonymous should be condemned. Anyone desiring information about the church can go to Scientology.org or Scientologytoday.org to form their own opinion.
Unless it's down. Unless it's jammed.
The actions of Anonymous will not interrupt the church's normal activities, serving its parishioners and the community, and the church is working in coordination with the police to minimise the negative impact of this terrorist group. I ask you, does this represent us here today? No!
Hey, this is Tori Magoo. I just came back from the Los Angeles picket with Anonymous. It was fantastic. Honestly, I can't tell you how thankful I am, how much I love you guys. It was incredible. There were like 400 to 500 people everywhere, all over Hollywood. It was awesome. You did a great job. People were very nice. They were educational. They really were cool. It was fantastic.
This global protest, held in dozens of cities across Canada and around the world, in front of Scientology property. The protesters wear masks because of the church's history of litigation against its critics. And sure enough, Scientology staffers were busy filming the protesters outside their Papineau Street's offices. Protesters have a point when they say they fear being sued.
It has had a history, yes, of litigating and going after people who have had opposing points of view.
We were out here protesting against the Church of Scientology. Not the church or the religion or faith or the right to have the faith of your choosing. We're protesting against the procedures and practices of the church and the harm they've caused to thousands. We're protesting their fair game policy, their tax exemption status despite being operated like a business, and their history of human rights violations. Police action has been attempted in the past, But the Church of Scientology wields a great deal of legal influence because they maintain a very large, very well-paid staff of lawyers. As such, they're able to avoid most legal repercussions simply by running most court cases into the ground. The average person simply cannot stand up against them in court because you will run out of money before they do, and you will be forced to give up. As such, police action generally cannot be taken against them because there's no way to convict them. We're anonymous. We're people. That's all we are. We're people who've seen this, said this isn't right, and decided to take a stand.
Wow, SPs, like, they'll just read about those in the history books, you know?